Hello and welcome to Complexity Limit's Guide to the Heroic Ra-den encounter, written and produced by Crzypck in coordination with Complexity Limit, brought to you by GameStop. Ra-den is a two-phase encounter. You'll start in Phase 1 and then transition into Phase 2 when the boss reaches 40% health. We recommend setting up 2 raid markers before you pull the boss, both about 10 yards away from the boss. You'll tank the boss where he is. When he reaches 100 energy, he'll smack the tank with Nullification Strike, dealing heavy damage and reducing your max health. You'll want to taunt swap every time he does this. In Phase 1, the boss regularly spawns 2 orbs from the rear corners of the room that'll slowly move towards him. The Vita orb starts to the back left, while the Void orb starts to the back right. You'll need to kill one of the orbs each time they spawn, and alternate which type of orb you're killing. As an example, if you let the Void hit first, you'll need to let the Vita hit second. When an orb hits Ra-den, he'll gain an empowerment and a stacking 10% damage increase buff. Regardless of which orb hits the boss, he'll do a raid-wide effect the moment it touches him. The Vita orb causes a lightning crash for moderate damage to everybody. The Void orb puts a large healing absorb on everybody. As a note to the healers, you may want to use the raid cooldown for when the orbs reach the boss. He'll also summon an ad that corresponds to which orb hit him. The Vita ad casts Chain Lightning. The Void ad casts Void Collapse on a random player. This deals a massive amount of AoE damage with a big purple targeting circle, but the damage is split between everybody hit. You should just stay stacked in the raid if you're targeted. The ads should be tanked under the boss and nuked down. The last effect the orbs give him is an Unstable ability. After you take damage from either Unstable ability, you'll get a debuff that causes you to take 300% increased damage from subsequent ones for 30 seconds. As such, we recommend having a pre-assigned group of 6 people total to deal with the unstable abilities. For Unstable Vita, a random player will get a 7-second debuff. When it expires, it'll jump to the farthest person away in the room and deal a moderate amount of damage to everybody between those 2 people. You'll want to make sure nobody is standing in the way and accidentally gets hit. This is where those raid markers we talked about earlier come in. When you get the Unstable Vita debuff, move to Triangle. Person 1 in your assigned order should go to Diamond. After 7 seconds, the Vita jumps, and the person who'd started with the debuff just goes back into the raid. Person 2 in the assigned order then replaces them at Triangle, and the Vita will jump from person 1 at Diamond back to person 2 at Triangle. You repeat this for 3 jumps total. For Unstable Void, he'll launch a Void missile at a soak circle. The first person from your assigned group needs to soak this. Once the missile lands, it'll bounce off the soaker and then put down a new soak circle. You'll keep repeating this for 5 impacts total. You'll keep alternating between which orb you let hit the boss until he reaches 40%, at which point you'll enter Phase 2. This is a burn phase, and we recommend using Bloodlust immediately upon entering it. Every 30 seconds during this phase, he gains another 10% increased damage stack. During this phase, the boss will pulse every 2 seconds for heavy raid damage. He'll also periodically put purple swirlies around the room. Don't stand in them. If you're affected by charged bonds, make sure to run away from the people you're connected with until it breaks. The tank ability from Phase 1 is replaced by a newer version, Decaying Strike. This does a mild amount of initial damage and applies a 10-second dot that'll deal damage every 2 seconds. The damage of these ticks is equal to 75% of the tank's initial health when Decaying Strike hit. Because of this, the healer should aim to keep the tank's health around 50 to 60% before the Decaying Strike hits. If the tank is at full health when it hits, the dot will most likely be unhealable and kill your tank. The tank should swap as soon as the stock goes out, and the tank who gets the dot should use a cooldown. Phase 2 is essentially a race to kill off Ra-den before his passive AoE increases in strength enough to just kill off your raid group. Your healers will want to start rotating cooldowns after Bloodlust wears off. Thanks for watching. We hope you found the guide helpful. If you'd like more details on this encounter or how it works, please click the link below to our written guide. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also find the rest of our Ny'alotha boss guides right here on our channel or at complexity.gg. For more content like this, follow Complexity on Twitter and subscribe to their YouTube channel. To keep up with Limit's race for World First, follow them on Twitter. Happy raiding!